Once all of the management fees and vendor payments and tax authority payments have been processed, the next step in the owner draw is to actually pay the owners. So again, in AppFolio, we're going to go to the accounting tab and back into payables. And on the right hand side, you will see under the tasks, pay owners. So you're just going to select this and then search. So from here, what you want to do is, obviously I'm receiving a couple of notifications here at the top. This top one is saying there's $360 in management fees that can be collected. Now on draw days, no payments or bills are to be entered. So this is most likely an external payment of some kind. I would assume an application fee, or perhaps a tenant made an online payment, which we can't stop, but it's not something that we want to pull management fees on immediately. But you can open this just to double check, make sure nothing was missed. It's going to open up the pay management fees process for you, and then you can see these are the ones that are pending. And if you actually just open these, it's going to show you what's pending on this account is an application fee of $60, which came through today. And here we have, again, an application fee, more application fees, and more application fees. So we're not going to collect those today. I'm just going to close this out and hop back over to our payables tab. The next notice that you'll see here in this yellow banner is that management fees have been over collected. This is just a notice stating that we have overdrawn an owner account by paying management fees. This could be for a couple of different reasons, but you just want to check and make sure that it's nothing major. We obviously don't want to be overdrawing an owner account by thousands of dollars. However, sometimes a maintenance request or something like that will overdraw an owner's account by just a little bit if they only have a $350 reserve, or in some scenarios $200 or $250 per property. Then it's likely that one maintenance request could overdraw that account. And the best way to verify this information is to actually go to your reporting section and open up your reports. And what you're looking for is the trust account balance report. This one I have saved to my favorites, and I've also saved it with the specifications for how I want this to be loaded. You can see here that I'm going to have it set as of today. We're looking at all accounts. And then in the columns, we're looking for the address, primary bank account, owner. We want to check for any unpaid bills, unused prepayments, reserve payment amounts, and work order estimates that are in place. And then we're not grouping by anything. So you'll just hit update. Okay, and here you can see primary bank accounts, anybody who is negative for one reason or another, and you can review each of those individually and determine why it is that those accounts are negative and how much money is owed. And then we have a lot of accounts that are at a $0 balance, and then everybody else is holding funds in their account. There's also things that you want to check on, unpaid bills amount. So this one, for instance, 8301 Yeager has an unpaid bill of $302.71. So that's something you want to verify. This one, Angelo, it looks like there's, for 8801 Rushing Brook, an unpaid bill amount of $138.37. Now I know off the top of my head that for that amount, that's for an inspection report, because that's how much that costs. And then in unused prepayment amounts, these are just people who have large amounts of funds in their account, and they have not been applied to anything as of yet. We always want to make sure that the reserve amount is properly set. We do have a lot of owners who have $0 set. Mountain View Properties, for instance, is actually one of the company owners' accounts, so we're not concerned about that. Work order estimates is just funds that we're holding for various transactions. So there's some that these haven't posted yet, but you always just want to check and make sure that we're not going to pay out anybody who is set to receive funds on this draw if we're holding estimates for work to be done in the future. So I'm just going to hop back over to payables. These are all the owners that are set to receive payment today. Step 1 is going to be to remove any properties who are set to receive a payment that are less than $75. It tends to just cause more issues when you make such a small payment to somebody because there's a lot more inquiries as to why we would be doing that. The next thing that you want to take a look at is going to be anybody who's receiving a large payment. So 8223 Emerald Sky right here is set to receive a payment of $3,523.50, and that's definitely worth investigating, especially on the last draw of the month where there's very little rental income that's coming through. You can start by opening this up and it's going to show you just a quick review of the account. If there's any prepayments, unpaid bills, work order estimates or anything, and then how much is being paid. Now, if you run into a scenario where you want to pay something out to the owner but not the full amount that it's telling you, you can actually come into here and adjust this number and it will post based on what you've adjusted it to. But the most important thing is to look for any charges that seem extremely high, and check that owner account. You want to ensure that we're not releasing any owner contributions to them that they've just deposited to cover work orders or make ready, anything that they funded their account for. We don't want to return that money right back to them because then they will have to make another contribution. We also want to look for things like maybe an owner owns multiple properties and one property is in the negative. We can check with them if they're comfortable with us transferring funds from one account to another. But you just want to do a quick review of that owner's statement just by hopping over to the owner statement report. And I'm actually going to pull up 228 San Pablo. Okay, and we're going to just run this for the month of September. And you can see here that this owner has contributed recently on the 15th an amount of $11,445.59. Now, in this scenario, I don't want to release any of these funds to him. So in total in this account, we're holding $13,709.74, and that includes both the $10,761.72 and work order estimates, as well as the required $600 reserve for the property. Now, because the owner has contributed these funds, I'm going to just assume that there is an amount here that's missing that the owner contributed to for a reason, but that estimate did not get put into the system. Or something else has gone there. So I definitely want to notify the make ready department and the maintenance department and make sure they have everything they need. But we don't want to release these funds to them. So I'm going to hop back to the payables tab and I'm just going to uncheck this so we can hold on to this $2,348.02. And basically that's just going to be the review process. Once you're done reviewing, you just want to print this page as is before posting so that you have a reference for, who was eligible for payment, who you've decided not to pay, and then you'll provide this to another member of the accounting team for review and approval, because we always want to have a second set of eyes in everything that we do. Once you have completed your review of owner accounts, and you've unselected any property that should not be receiving a payment for whatever reason, you want to continue by printing this as it is so that you have record of who you have chosen to pay and not to pay, and then you'll just select post. This is just giving me a notice that there's management fees that haven't been collected yet, which is in reference to those application fees that came in today. So we're just going to say, yes, we're sure we want to continue with the owner payments. All right. And this will bring you back to a screen that at this point should feel pretty familiar. We're going to proceed by checking all maker accounts, and then we're going to do pay owners and search. Now here is the only time that I change anything as far as the standard procedure is concerned. Most of the time when we're going through a bill pay procedure like this, we're choosing select all. In this scenario, because we're paying owners, we're just going to choose if funds available, which at this point, if your review was done properly, you shouldn't really have anything. And so right now you can see that I'm processing a payment to all of these owners, and when I select if funds available, it is choosing everybody. I'm also going to print this as backup for my draw package, and then I'm going to hit continue. After you hit continue, it's going to bring you to this next page, which is going to be the finalize page. Owners receive e-check payments, so it's an ACH direct deposit straight to their bank account, except for a few who have IRAs or some other kind of retirement plan wherein we mail a check directly to them. So from here, I'm going to print this as well for backup to keep with my draw package. I'm going to take all three of those printouts and provide them to another member of the accounting team to review and approve, and once that's done, we can proceed with actually processing owner payments. After receiving final review and approval of your owner payments, you're going to proceed with finalizing, and then you're going to do verify and send payments. And again, AppFolio is going to send you a text message with a code that must be entered in order to process this. And now all of the owner payments have been submitted and processed. Final step in closing out an owner draw and processing owner payments is to proceed with sending the owner statement. So from AppFolio, we're going to go into the communication tab, and we're going to go to letters, and on the far right side under tasks, we're going to say send owner packets, and you'll just choose that. This is going to automatically update itself based on what needs to be done, so leave everything alone and just hit search. And then it's going to tell you that there are 192 owners, 189 that are getting an email, and 3 of them that are going to receive printed statements. So we're going to go ahead and email 189 packets. There is a preset written email that's in the system that does not change, and so you'll just proceed with hitting send once that's registered. Depending on the amount of statements that are being sent or the amount of owners that are within your AppFolio property management system, this may take quite some time. In this scenario, it's a much smaller portfolio, and so it usually doesn't take too long. Once that's completed, we'll go ahead and hit print 3 packets for the remainder, and then package those in envelopes and send them out to the owner's address on file.